to
That's great.
stop
Now you're changing.
immigration.
Yeah, now you're changing the argument. The reality is,
No,
if they didn't like it, they could have debated.
You said they tried it with just immigration and it didn't go
They
through.
tried it with just the border bill. Yes.
No, it wasn't
not
just
part of
the border bill.
not part of Ukraine aid or anything.
Facilitating more border crossings when the guys in charge weren't even judges. They were just random.
Hey y'all, thanks for stopping in. Hope everybody had a great weekend and got out there and voted early if you had the opportunity. If not, tomorrow is the big day, right? Tuesday is the big day for the election, 2024, of course. I mean, if you don't know where you've been, but I had a pretty good weekend. Thank you for asking. And, in this one, we're going to have a look at a truly heated debate between woke Twitch streamer Destiny and Gavin McInnes. Now, a little bit about Destiny. If you don't know, this dude talks fast. He appears intelligent, but really the things that come out of his mouth are just word salad city, right? They're straight up lies in many cases. And, I don't think that the guy is misinformed. I think he's just complacent with the woke lefty, mind virus, right? He just can't escape the cult. And as it relates to Gavin McInnes, I'll admit, I don't know a whole lot about the dude. He's just not in my cycle of things that I watch or pay attention to. But this is a good debate revolving around the recent border bill that the Republicans declined, essentially, that they rejected. And the Democrats try to use as a cudgel to say that Donald Trump had it blocked so that he could use it on his campaign as a campaign issue when, Donald Trump was going to stand up for stronger borders regardless of if that bill was passed or not, at least in my opinion. And at the same time, ironically, it's the left that has been using the Republicans' rejection of that bill as a cudgel to help Kamala's campaign. So additionally, I just want to warn you, there is some language in this one that I typically try to keep off the channel, but for sake of entertainment, we're all adults here. We're going to just deal with it, right? I mean, most of us probably speak that way in our daily life anyways. So anyways, let's go ahead and let her rip.
3/4 of the world wants to come to America. The answer is no. I don't want to process them more. I also don't like that bill because it's got a bunch of fucking bullshit earmarked for Ukraine and all kinds of other bullshit. It's just like their Inflation Reduction Act. It does the opposite of what it says it's going to do. That bill wasn't about closing the borders. It was about facilitating more illegals.
Stephen, why didn't they just do one single bill about immigration?
They did. They tried it. He's just lying. The Republicans just lie like they breathe. They did try to do one single bill. The Republicans still rejected it.
That's actually, ironically, a lie.
Okay.
So you're talking about lying as you lie. They have never proposed anything rational about immigration. It's a very simple concept. It's called closing the borders. You want to get rid of who's here? It's called attrition. You fine employers for hiring illegals, and they all go back with their tails between their legs, like they regularly do when the economy is bad. So the solution to America's plight is largely closed borders. And that, by the way, goes back to what I was saying about cultural. If you're culturally against illegal immigration, that's the first step to having strong borders.
Cool. The U.S. Senate failed Thursday to advance a border security bill as both parties seek to hone their message on immigration policy in the run-up into November's elections. The Senate bill failed to advance on a 43-50 procedural vote. The chamber already rejected the measure as part of a broader foreign aid package earlier this year. When they tried it initially as part of a broader package, it failed. When they tried it on its own, it failed. So you fucking lied, okay?
No, tried it on its own is not on its own. That is a lie. It was not a cohesive, structured bill that was going to
That's great.
stop
Now you're
immigration.
changing. Yeah, now you're changing the argument. The reality is, if they didn't like it, they could have debated.
You said they tried it with just immigration and it didn't go through.
They tried it with just the border bill. Yes.
No, it wasn't
not
just
part of the not part of Ukraine aid or anything.
More border crossings when the guys in charge weren't even judges. They were just random fucking customs officials who were going to stamp your passport and say, you're in.
That's not how any of that works. That's literally not how any of that works. None of that works. Nothing you're saying is true. Literally nothing. Nothing you're saying is true.
They're not judges.
So at the end of the day, why did Trump have much less border encounters than Biden?
Yeah, I wonder.
Well, I mean, for one, he had COVID. He had Title 42. He could literally shut down and reject people for asylum seeking using Title 42 because of.
No, it was way before COVID border crossings were down.
They weren't down that much from Obama. What do you mean? Look at the fucking look at the immigration stats.
12 million people crossed the border under Biden. That's as many as Ellis Island in its entirety. its entire 85 years. We've had 12 million fucking illegals. And
they're not illegals. Also, they're people that are seeking asylum. That's not an illegal immigrant. But
the quality of immigrants we're getting these days is alarmingly bad.
And what Destiny just did right there is he said they're not illegals, they're asylum-seeking immigrants. Every single one of these illegal immigrants that comes through our customs that are being ushered in and not being snuck across the border by a cartel have to file for asylum. They register with the CBP-1 app, and then they go through the process of asylum, even though it doesn't even apply to the rules and the laws that asylum seekers are supposed to follow. They all register with this CBP-1 app, which I'm sure if they don't have a cell phone, our government gives them one, right? I don't know. That's just me speculating. I mean, how can you use an app if you don't have a device? But that aside, right, to use the CBP-1 app, and this is from Google, okay? To use the CBP-1 app to schedule an appointment, asylum seekers must be located in northern or central Mexico, not from northern or central Mexico. They need to just be located there, right? So it doesn't matter where they come from, which country they came from, which generally asylum seeking rules means that you go to the next country over, right? Not travel overseas or go through multiple countries and then ironically end up in America's doorstep. So they're not even following the procedure and the protocol to become a legal asylum seeker anyway, and I'm sure these people aren't being persecuted the way that a true asylum seeker would be persecuted in their own home country, right? So they're watering down the definition of the word, essentially, asylum seeker. And, you know, that's no excuse. But that doesn't change the fact that so many people came in under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's leadership versus the lower amount of people that came in under Donald Trump's leadership, which he had implemented the stay in Mexico rule until they figured out where these people were from. They did separate the children from the adults that they were with so that they could protect the children and make sure that they weren't being trafficked by somebody that wasn't their parent or legal guardian. And, you know, which is another convenient excuse that the left tries to use and say, oh, Donald Trump was separating families. That's just assuming every kid accompanied by an adult was with their family, right? That's really a broad, bold assumption. And it's a demonstration of the true lack of concern for children, once again, from the Democratic Party, to add to the pile of other examples that they exhibit not caring about young ones in our country, right?
It's not destitute families looking for a job.
Well, if we would have allocated more money to the border for asylum judges to make rulings on that, we'd be able to do border faster.
They weren't judges. You know they weren't judges.
Some of the funding was allowing for judges. Yes, some of the funding went towards judges.
I'm not allotting more money. Three-quarters of the world
don't allot more
wants
money.
to
Then
fund
have
you,
the
dude.
system be
Go
backed up and
outside.
have all
Go
the
to
people
border.
in here on waiting for their court date and then
You've
sit here and
never
bitch
been
about
to
it and
the
do
border.
fucking nothing.
That's what I
This is
mean
all
about how you
Republicans
haven't
do.
lived.
All conservatives do is they cry all day about everything and they don't fix fucking anything. They've got no solutions. They just suggest pie in the sky shit that they know will never fucking pass. Like, oh, deport for 20 million people and that's it. So that way they can just cry. You're permanent victims.
The border was fixed.
You are
You
a
blame
permanent
COVID.
victim and you like it. You like being a victim because at the end of the day, you're the one that's dreaming about getting fucked in the ass. Okay, that's what you're obsessing with. You like to be a victim.
I wouldn't
You don't want to
pursue the
solve
whole
any
fucking the ass
problems.
thing.
You want to
That's not
sit
a
there
great
on
angle
your
for you.
knees and you want to cry. You want to cry about it and not do anything about it. That's all
I'm
you
not
want to do.
crying.
You are. You're crying.
I'm
You're right
getting-
now. The immigrants
I'm
are.
getting mad.
The immigrants are. You're crying like a little bitch.
No, that's not. You're mistaking anger for sadness. I'm not crying liberal tears. I'm having
You're crying
a
conservative
right-wing
tears.
rage
They're
attack
a lot more
at you
delicious.
and other people who don't recognize the border problem.
Oh. Democrats did. They try to pass a bill. You guys don't even think there's a border problem. That's why you're
They
like,
tried to
fuck
pass
it.
a garbage
You're like,
bill. It
let's
was a
let's
garbage
keep.
bill.
Then why not? Then
It
why
was
not
fake.
debate it? Then why not debate it in the Senate? Why not reform it? Why not do something different with it?
Because it was irrevocably bad. It was not a strong border bill.
It was a Republican
It's just
bill. It was authored by
the
Langford in the
Inflation
Senate. He's a
Reduction
Republican.
Act.
The
They
Republicans
keep
supported the
making up
exact same bill
funny
years
names
earlier.
for things that are the opposite of what they purport to be. It's a scam, and people like you fall for it because you don't go outside.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a victim of propaganda because you just
yeah.
live on the internet.
Oh, okay.
So we can chat GPT you into a fictional person. You're an AI bot.
So Gavin, what
Go
would
to the
the
border,
what would the
dude.
Republican Party
Visit
do with the
someone,
border?
visit. Experience life.
What particular things would the
Experience
Republican
life.
Party do to solve the border crisis?
Build a wall, an actual wall that goes from that covers the entire southern border. Punish those who hire illegals. Let the border guards do their fucking job. Like the last time that they arrested someone, they had the strap that's used to guide a horse correctly. That the administration, because they've never been down there, they've never been to West Texas, they just assume it's a whip and they're whipping illegals. That's where the culture crosses over into politics and actual policy, where they go, these poor illegals are getting whipped. No, we're just trying to enforce the border. If law enforcement was allowed to do its job, we could have this problem solved in one term. Again, 12 million people under Biden. What a fucking catastrophe. Totally unprecedented.
So what exactly?
American
Sorry,
history.
maybe I missaid, but what exactly will the Republican Party do?
I just said they will punish those who hire illegals. That is an attrition tactic to get them to go home on their own accord.
Isn't it already illegal to hire? It's already illegal to hire illegals. What, you're going to make an illegal thing even more illegal? Like,
okay, how are illegals working then? If it's so
because
illegal?
people, how do thieves steal from stores, Gavin? They break the fucking law. What do you mean?
Yeah, and we don't punish shoplifters for stealing. That's why you have to put plexiglass around your fucking deodorant, and that's why Walgreens and CVS are going bankrupt. We're not allowing law enforcement to do its job. We have laws on the books to prevent illegal aliens. They are being prevented from enforcing these laws. That's the problem with all your gay bills, too. We already have great laws. They're just not enforced because they're hamstrung. Fucking Biden sued Texas for...
So I got to say, I definitely agree with Gavin McInnes here. I think I called him Gavin Newsom at the beginning. Maybe not. I hope I didn't. But anyways, I got to say that I definitely agree that if we just simply enforced the laws on the books, a lot of these issues wouldn't be issues today. And what Destiny just said there at the end is a complete oxymoron, right? You would think that the Democratic Party, who's so scared that Trump is going to be this dictator on day one and all the crap that they say, wouldn't want federal authority to be so strong. I mean, they've become the party of big tech, big corporations, big media. They don't stand for the little guy. What happened to the liberal hippie? You know what I'm saying? They want a federal daddy to rule over all the states like a dictator. It's so crazy that they don't understand that the states are the ones that are supposed to have sovereignty over their own rules and laws, and the individuals within the states are the ones that are supposed to vote on the rules, the laws that go on within that state. Ironically, just as Donald Trump wants it to be as it pertains to abortion laws. Let it be on the states so that the people can choose. We don't need a federal mandate, which, you know, with every federal mandate, with every federal bill, with everything that these big government people try to do, it creates bigger government. Like, for instance, with this border bill, they wanted to hire more judges. Judges aren't cheap. And all that was really going to do was facilitate more people into our country via this bullcrap CBP asylum attempt that they're using to disguise illegal immigrants as asylum seekers, because most people aren't smart enough to know the difference and what they're doing with that whole asylum thing, right? And it's plain to see what the Democrats are trying to do. They want to usher in as many people into our country that are going to be very clearly thankful to the Democratic Party when it comes time for them to finally vote once they are legally allowed, right? And isn't it funny how Destiny says that, you know, people still go out and commit theft, people still go out there and hire illegals, even though it's against the law, yet they claim that illegal immigrants aren't voting in our election because it's against the law. I mean, Destiny, think of what you just said, bro. But regardless, one last plea, if you haven't voted yet, we need Donald Trump to start deporting these individuals. It's way easier than the Democrats want to make you think it is. It's much cheaper than the Democrats want to make you think it is, especially when you consider how much money is being used to facilitate these asylum seekers. You cut off the sanctuary cities. You use those funds to get the people back where they're supposed to be. It's as simple as that, right? So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Come visit me Saturdays at 8 p.m. for the Jar Openers podcast. I go live every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and I'd love to see you there. But if not, hopefully I'll see you in the next video.